So I'm reading this new book, Ayn Rand and the World She Made by Ann C. Heller. So I'm listening to it on CD. I love listening to books on CD. It reminds me of when I was a child and my parents would read to me, and makes me feel nurtured and loved and spoiled and taken care of. So I listen to a lot of books when I'm out walking, or when I just want to kick back and have a book read to me. So Ayn Rand, novelist of the 20th century, she wrote The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. And I was fascinated by a section on page 134, this new book. It talks about Ayn Rand making a friend with Isabel Patterson, who was a Canadian-American journalist, novelist, political philosopher, and a leading literary critic of her day. Her best-known work was a 1943 book, The God of the Machine, which was a treatise basically on libertarian economics and political philosophy. So Isabel Patterson was Christian, Ayn Rand was Jewish. Now Ayn Rand never liked to consider that she was Jewish. She never liked to publicly acknowledge that she was Jewish. She considered herself an atheist, and she did not think of herself as any part of the Jewish people. Still, she was profoundly influenced by her Jewish heritage. So as a consequence of that, Ayn Rand believed that suffering was anything but noble and had no redeeming value, writes Ann Conover Heller in this new book. So Patterson casually but firmly disagreed. She thought that suffering could be instructive, particularly for writers. So why did Isabel Patterson, think that suffering was noble, and Ayn Rand think that suffering was terrible? Because Ayn Rand was Jewish and Patterson was Christian. The Jewish perspective is that this world is the focus, therefore suffering stinks and should be minimized. Christianity holds that the next world is the focus, more important than this world, and that suffering ennobles. Christ suffered on the cross. He sacrificed himself for us. Therefore we must suffer too. So at its core, Christianity is a romantic religion, with this romantic story of God sending his Son to earth to die on a cross to suffer for our sins. While Judaism at its core is unromantic. It's about taking on obligations day by day in this world, and that's where the focus is on mitzvahs, commandments, Jewish law, halakha. That's the Jewish focus. So Rand was quite skeptical about Isabel Patterson and thought, who but a religious mystic would argue that suffering had an upside? Rand held faith of any kind to be inconsistent with rationality. She particularly despised Christianity with its insistence on suffering.